Once upon a time, there was a young monk named Ananda who came to the Buddha with a troubled mind. He had been struggling with overthinking, finding himself constantly lost in his thoughts and unable to focus on the present moment. "Master," Ananda said, "I can't seem to stop my mind from racing. I'm always lost in thought and can't find peace. What can I do?" The Buddha looked at Ananda with a gentle smile. "Dear Ananda, I understand your struggle. But know that overthinking is like a forest fire. It can consume everything in its path if left unchecked." Ananda looked confused. "I don't understand, Master." The Buddha continued, "Think of your mind as a forest and your thoughts as the trees. When you let your thoughts run wild, it's like starting a fire. The more you think, the more fuel you add to the flames. Soon, the fire is out of control, and you're left with nothing but ash and destruction." Ananda nodded slowly, beginning to understand the analogy. "But what can I do, Master? How can I put out the fire?" The Buddha replied, "The first step is to recognize that your thoughts are just that, thoughts. They do not define you, nor do they control you. They are like passing clouds in the sky. Observe them, but do not cling to them." Ananda looked skeptical. "But how can I do that? My thoughts are always there, always nagging at me." The Buddha smiled. "I have a story for you, Ananda. Listen well. The story of the two arrows. Once, there was a man who was walking through a forest when he was suddenly shot by an arrow. The man was in great pain and cried out in agony. As he lay there, another arrow struck him, this time in the same spot as the first. The man cried out again, even louder this time. A passerby saw the man and rushed to his aid. "What happened?" he asked. The injured man replied, "I was shot by 2 arrows." The passerby was puzzled. "But why did you let the second arrow hit you? Couldn't you have dodged it?" The injured man sighed. "It wasn't the physical arrow that hurt me the most, but the arrow of my own thoughts. When the first arrow hit me, I was in pain, but it was bearable. But then I started to worry about the consequences of being shot. What if I couldn't work anymore? What if I lost my home? What if I died? Those thoughts hurt me more than the arrow ever could." The Buddha looked at Ananda. "Do you see, dear Ananda? The first arrow is the pain of life. It's unavoidable, but it's also manageable. The second arrow is the suffering we inflict upon ourselves through our thoughts. It's unnecessary, but it's also avoidable." Ananda nodded, beginning to understand. "So, what can I do to avoid the second arrow?" The Buddha replied, "You can start by practicing mindfulness. When you notice yourself lost in thought, gently bring your attention back to the present moment. Observe your thoughts, but do not cling to them. Let them pass like clouds in the sky." Ananda nodded slowly. "I will try, Master. But it won't be easy." The Buddha smiled. "No, it won't be easy. But it's worth it. For when you stop overthinking, you will find peace and clarity. You will see the world as it truly is, and not as you imagine."